of EIGRP route tagging. My name is Kedar Tandekar and I am a Cisco certified Internet Network expert in enterprise infrastructure. So if you have any question, then please feel free to mail me on kedartandekar@nittraining.in. So our first task is to configure the EIGRP and OSPF. So we have to configure the OSPF area 0 on router 1, router 2, router 3 and router 4. After that we have to configure the EIGRP classic configuration on router 3, 4, 5 and 6. So let's start with router 1. So on router 1 we have to advertise the LAN 1 network 192.168.0.0 in area 0. After that 200.100.0.0 in area 0. Now router 2. So on router 2 we have to advertise the network 200.100.0.0 1.0 and 3.0. Now router 3. So on router 3 in OSPF we have to advertise 200.100.1.0 and in EIGRP 200.100.2.0. After that router 4. To 100.100.3.0 into OSPF and 4.0 into EIGRP. After that on router 5 we have to configure only EIGRP 200.100.2.0, 4.0 and 5.0. Now router 6. To 100.100.5.0 and line 2 network 192.168.1.0. Okay, so we have done the EIGRP and OSPF. After that, now we have to configure the redistribution. So we have to configure the redistribution on router 3 and router 4. So we have to mutually redistribute EIGRP and OSPF. So now this is my router 3 and this is my router 4. So we have to mutually redistribute EIGRP and OSPF. So from EIGRP to OSPF and OSPF to EIGRP. So let's configure this on router 3 first. So router OSPF 1 redistribute EIGRP 10 and router EIGRP 10 redistribute OSPF 1 metric same on router 4. So we have done the redistribution on router 3 and router 4. So after redistribution, the one thing is that I have configured the AD value on router 3, 4 and 5. So I have changed the AD value on router 3 and 4 and 5 for EIGRP. So if I show you the configuration, so section EIGRP. So the AD value is changed to 171 for internal route on router 3, router 4 as well as on router 5. So if you check on router 4 also, so on router 4 also the AD value for internal route is 171 and also on router 5 the AD value for internal route is 171. So on all the 3 routers the AD value for internal route is 171. Now here there can be a loop. So now if we check the routing table of let's say router 5, so on router 5 we can see that for LAN 2 network 192.168.1.0 the next hop is 200.100.2.1, that means the IP address of router 3. Okay, so now if router 5 wants to reach the LAN 2 network, then the next hop must be of router 6 200 or 100.5.1. But router 5 has selected the next hop as router 3 200 or 100.2.1. So this can be a loop here. So how is this happening? So on router 6 we have already advertised the network 192.168.1.0. So he will advertise it towards the router 5. Router 5 will forward it towards router 3 as well as towards router 4. Now router 4 will redistribute the EIGRP networks into OSPF, and router 4 will forward it towards router 2, and router 2 will forward it towards router 3. Now router 3 is learning the network 192.168.1.0 from OSPF also, which has the AD value 110, and also from EIGRP, which we have configured the AD value 171. So now router 3 will select the path from OSPF because it has the lowest AD value, which is 110. Okay, so router 3 will now select the path from the OSPF, and now what router 3 will do, he will redistribute the network 192.168.1.0 again back from OSPF to EIGRP. Okay, so he will redistribute it and he will forward it towards the router 5, and now router 5 will receive the network 192.168.1.0 from router 3 as well as an external. So the external AD value is 170, and the same thing router 5 is also receiving the network 192.168.1.0 from router 6, which has the internal AD value 171. So now router 5 will prefer the lowest AD value 170, and he will select the path from router 4. So if we check the routing table of router 5, so he is selecting the path from router 3 200 or 100.2.1. So now if we try to ping from PC9 to PC10, so let's open PC9. So if we try to ping 192.168.1.1, so here we can see that we are getting the ICMP time exceeded message. So this is causing a loop here. So to avoid such loop, now we have to configure the route tagging. Okay, so the third task is to configure the route tagging on router 3 and router 4 to avoid routing loops. So let's configure the route tagging on router 3 first. Now we have to create the route map. We will give the name tag. We will match the tag here. Let's say the tag will be 100.100.100.100. Now we will create the second statement here. And now we will set the tag here 100.100.100.100. And now we will apply this route map point redistribution. So route map tag, same thing while redistributing OSPF also. Route map tag. Same configuration on router 4. Route map D910, we have to match the tag 100.100.100.100. After that, second statement permit 20, we have to set the tag here, and now we have to apply the route map. So router EIGRP 10 redistribute OSPF and here route map tag. So we have done the route tagging on router 3 and router 4. Now let's check the routing table of router 5. So now we can see that router 5 is selecting the path from router 6. So if he wants to reach LAN 2 network 192.168.1.0, then the next stop is of router 6. 200 or 100.5.1. Now let's try to ping it again from PC9. So now we can see that we are getting the reachability. Okay, so this is how we can avoid the routing loops using route tags. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any question, then please feel free to mail me on kedargandikar@nittraining.in. Thank you.